Hello there, my friends. Welcome to Life After the PMP exam. A massive shout out to one of our PMP gurus, Kathy, who got certified last year. And Kathy has come back to speak to us about how to get certified and all the steps she went through. And honestly, she put up a very courageous journey in the face of all sorts of adversity, losses and so on. She was able to stay focused, rugged, dogged, and tough. And I'm so proud of what Kathy has done. But today, Kathy has sent in a very interesting question about the PMP. So I'm going to read it here. And she says, how does the PMP and PMI ACP certification, a lot of C's, huh? PMI ACP certification compare? So, Kathy, I wanted to answer your question and thank you for your patience as you waited for me to answer it. This question has come up quite a lot from students, and I think it's about time to tackle it one more time. So, for those folks who got certified in 2020 towards the end, you probably started hearing Roy and I talk about Agile. But for those folks who got certified in 2021, that was pretty much the staple base for your course, right? So the folks who got certified in 2021 under Roy and I, they drank a lot of Agile Kool-Aid. For those of you that got certified in 2020, you drank a little bit, but not as much. And that's why I would advise you to go for a course where you get beefed up and jacked up in Agile Think. Primarily, it's about the think. A lot of people think it's about the practices and the methods and the frameworks. No, those are important as well, don't get me wrong, but ultimately your agile thinking needs to be on point. So Roy and I have vehicles in place for that, and I'm going to put a link below for anyone that thinks they need another agile dose to get them into that zone. I'm going to put a link below. But anyway, to answer the question, PMP versus ACP, I also wanted to throw in another certification here that you didn't mention, Kathy, and that's CSM. So let's take a look at them one by one. The PMI ACP, Agile Certified Practitioner, it formally recognizes your knowledge of Agile principles and your skill with Agile techniques. Show your peers, employers, and stakeholders that your Agile knowledge runs deep. PMI ACP is the PMI's fastest growing certification, and it's no wonder. Now, I'm not sure if it still holds that position in 2021, but once upon a time it did, because a lot of folks were getting PMI ACP certified. Now that the PMP is very Agile focused, I think it might have started thinning out. I'm not absolutely sure. It's just my sneaking hunch, and I need to check up the numbers. But for those getting certified in 2021, you're drinking a lot of Agile, not as much as PMI ACP, but a lot. Now, if I was an employer looking for someone to work a project from an Agile perspective, I probably would not go to PMP first. I would either go to PMI ACP or I would go to CSM. The Certified Scrum Master from the Scrum Alliance. As a Certified Scrum Master, you'll help the Scrum team perform at their highest level. CSMs also protect the team, both from an internal and external distractions. So when you take a look at both of these, the one that is more recognized in industry, more popular in industry for Scrum is this. And I dare say anyone who thinks about using Agile, a lot of times, the 70% of those firms use Scrum. So in my mind, I would advise to do the CSM first. That would be my suggestion. If you were able to choose between two, I would say the CSM first, especially if you've gone through training with Roy and I would say go straight to CSM, and it's low hanging fruit. It's an easy win, and it's recognized. Okay, now I want to show you real quick. We're going to go onto some of the more popular job sites, and I want to show you just how dominant the CSM is. Because if you compare the CSM to the ACP in this job space, you'll find out that the dominance is with the CSM. So let me share my screen here with you for a second. Now let's just type in CSM and Scrum, and let's see what comes up. And this is everywhere in the United States. Scrum Master CSM, Scrum Master Project Manager, Certified CSM, ASM, or PSM. And I'm coming to that. That's another one. But you can see ACP doesn't register in a number of these. It's just Scrum Master. And that's because Scrum is so dominant. Like I said, out of the 71% of organizations who use Agile, right? Because 71% of organizations say they use Agile these days. Out of those, 70% of them say they use some form of Scrum. So when you take a look at the jobs that are out there, right? You even see Senior Scrum Master with Agile. A lot of it is CSM tied. The CSM is so dominant, very dominant. See that? So there you go, CSM, PSM 1, first level Scrum Master certification. That's what they're asking for. All right, so let's even talk about SAFe. If you want to know what we have to say about SAFe, look under Agile Principle on YouTube. You'll see we're not even talking about that. When you talk about Agile, let's talk about the frontline ones that people know, okay? And that are truly at least Agile. I can't fault PMI and the ACP. I like the way they made it very agnostic, because as I took the ACP exam, I was expecting to find a lot of technicalities. I did not. I found more of the thinking. I found more of the situational approach to Agile being tested. Okay, so I would say go with CSM first. And then if you've been for a class with Roy and I, you're going to find it just so easy and straightforward. And one more to talk about before we go into anything else. So let's take a look at the final one that I would recommend from an Agile perspective, at least for now. All right, so CSM first, but there's one more, as you saw, as we covered some of that stuff on DICE. And the last one is PSM. It's Professional Scrum Master. It's from Ken Schwaber's company, who's one of the co-creators of Scrum. People who have passed the PSM-1 achievement certification demonstrate a fundamental level of Scrum mastery. PSM-1 certificate holders prove that they understand Scrum as described in the Scrum Guide and how to apply Scrum in Scrum teams. PSM-1 holders have a consistent terminology and approach to Scrum. In my mind, the PSM, talking about level of difficulty, this is a pretty vicious exam compared to the CSM. CSM is a little puppy dog. The PSM is a tiger, a lion coming for you. And the bad thing about the PSM is that you've only got an hour and I think 80 questions, if I remember correctly. And, I've taken all three of these, and I can tell you, in economies of pressure, feeling pressure, I would say the PSM is right up there with the ACP in terms of difficulty. You either know it or you don't. And I won't be surprised. A lot of folks probably find the PSM shocking if they haven't, done some practice tests, because it will really find your weakness. It'll really find you out. And that's why I recommend playing with a few mock exams before doing it. All right, so the summary, Kathy. I would advise you to first go for the CSM. It's a nice entry-level type of certification. It's very easy. I didn't even study after my course. I just took the exam immediately after. I didn't go home until I'd done the final exam for CSM right there in the class. So it's manageable. I would say do that first. As you drink the Scrum Kool-Aid, I would say go to the next level, level up, take the PSM, show that you truly, truly know what Scrum is about. And if you got money to spend on it, at that point, I would say go for the ACP. Now, the reason is this: a lot of the stuff that you're covering in all of these vehicles, you actually have in our course. Okay, Roy covers a smattering of topics in our Agile training course. So I would say if you really want to learn more about this, just go on down to agileprinciple.com. And even though it's for it says get ready for the PMP component. I'll just show it to you, agileprinciple.com. Even though it says get ready for the Agile component on the PMP exam, yeah, but you got a ton of topics that are really going to help take you to that next level, and we cover them from the perspective of agnostic Agile and also Agile for people who are meant to be PMP. So this is not a bad one to jump on and do. Okay, the website is agileprinciple.com. Okay, again, agileprinciple.com. Okay, and you will be able to jump straight into that, take it immediately, get beefed up, get tooled up, get wired. And the Agile Think, Roy does a great job covering it, does a really good job, because we go into the 4 values and the 12 principles, and he does a really good job of that. And then we cover all the other bits and pieces that you would expect to find in any of those courses that I talked about. Okay, it's also 2 months of access, so you're able to just take your time and go through it. All right, so again, the website is agileprinciple.com, and you'll learn a lot. And the good thing is you can ask questions as you're going through the content. If there's anything Roy says or I say, just ask questions and we'll get you answers to that. Okay, we also recommend that people read the Agile Practice Guide. It's a good body of information. Okay, I like the fact that it's lean and mean. It gives you at least some guidance. And then we also recommend reading the Scrum Guide. Go to scrumguides.org, and I'll try and put a link here below to all this stuff. We also have an audio version of the Scrum Guide, which is read out. So if you want to learn Scrum on the go, we got a video up there on YouTube that you can listen to. Okay, I hope this helps, Kathy. Thank you very much for the question, and all the very best in all your endeavors. Bye for now.